Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
My name's Kyle Houghton. I'm Rapid Flea Builds online on Instagram and on Rebrickable. I built Titans from the game Titanfall 2. So all of these models are built up to scale with minifigures. They all open up and they all fit figures inside of them. He doesn't have one just yet. So we'll move over to this guy here that has a figure.
There's a really impressive number of these you've built here.
Yes, so in the game there's I think 7 different models and they've all got variations off of them, and so I've been doing it, making it my mission to build every version of them. So I've got all of the ones from the base game. These 3 are from the first game, and then the rest of them are from the second. And then I've got a couple of, this guy is one of the more advanced models, and then this one as well. So I've just been trying to make every version of them that I can. There's not a whole lot of content for Titanfall out there, and so I've been trying to kind of fill that gap. There's a couple other great designers. There's one, SHL Bricks, that's done some great work, and his are at a much larger scale, and so I wanted to make something that's a little bit more accessible to people. I got inspiration for these models from a guy named Daniel Loskatov, I think, on ArtStation. He started with some very similar models, and I started building his and thought that I could do a better job. So I sort of started rebuilding everything, and he didn't have the whole series, and so I decided I was going to complete the rest of them. So, and then I've got my battle scene, which is a couple of the mechs set up over here. This is on one of the maps in the game. It's called Angel City. And so there's one of the NPC guys up here is called a Reaper. He shoots off these little explosive bombs called ticks. And built this up with my little brother that'll be making a page here soon. So just a kind of set piece to set some models on.
Yeah, really nice kind of scene here, though, even with the city streets and just the action there. So what else do you have happening down here on the street section?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of pilots. That's what they call the player characters in the game. So all these guys have jump packs. So this guy's doing some wall running action up here. There's another guy that's just kind of coming out of the building. This guy's entering his Titan. So he's jumping up to get inside. The guy on top is giving him a battery, so you can give other Titans batteries that'll increase their health and whatnot. And there's just a couple of little stuff. There's these cars that are all around the map that are broken down, so just a little simple version of it, and then just a light post just to add a little bit extra. So cluttered up the streets just a little bit to give a bit more interesting things to look at. Studs all across the bottom just in case I need to stud anything onto the base.
Yeah.
So.
One of the things that's so cool when you look at this display is the posability of each of these. So how do you approach when you're kind of planning each of these builds and making sure that they're strong enough to stand up, but obviously still have that posability for the different weapons?
So funny enough, a lot of these are not super strong. So if we look at the bigger guys, we look at this guy Legion, for example. His hips are based on the mixel joints, and so I wanted that posability, but use the smaller joints just to to keep the proportions, and that's at a detriment to strength, obviously. So these are not meant to be play models; they're just meant to be display. But in terms of how I start, I really go with the joints that show in the game. So these guys all have these kind of chicken leg joints, and then I'll just use whichever pieces work for that. So I use these ratcheting joints for these smaller ones to add the strength in. There's another ratcheting joint hid behind this back knee here that's able to keep my strength on these smaller models.
I really like that detail of kind of hiding the joints with those round pieces there, and it just gives a really clean look.
Yeah, absolutely. These have, I think in the game they're a lot smaller, and so, but I went with the bigger ones just to hide it. So back behind here is not too pretty. It also adds the strength here for this little guy back. I don't really know what this is. Is this some kind of energy canister or something back behind the knee?
So take us through a variety of some of the weapons you've included on these and kind of how you chose some of those.
Yeah, so in the game, in the first game, you were allowed to really just pick and choose whichever weapon you wanted. So this guy's got a weapon called the Triple Threat. It's a kind of grenade launcher, almost like an MGL in some other games. And I included this one just because it was one that I didn't have. Same thing with the Atlas guy right here in the middle. He has the Exo 16 chain gun, the first version of it. So this guy was really shown on the box art a lot, and then this weapon is really featured very heavily in on all the promotional pieces. So I wanted to include it in what was then the most popular version of that one. And then every one of these other weapons are weapons that appear on the specific Titans in the second game. So the second game, they locked you down more with the classes, and so I included just the weapon that they're supposed to have, mostly in their default colors. So like this guy, the Tone, has the big 40mm cannon that just shows up in his in the regular colors. Same thing with BT right here. This dark green is a little bit different than it was supposed to be, but just the default colors. And then for some of the other guys, like this purple Ronin right here, you're allowed to do some more weapon customization. So I added the lime green just because I think it really fits really well with that purple. It's already kind of outlandish, so the purple kind of works with it. The red doesn't show in the game, but I was really limited in the color of parts that I chose, like those sloped 1x2s up here on the top. They don't come with those in too many colors, and so I thought the red looked pretty well with it. Even though it doesn't exactly exist, it kind of flows with the rest of the model.
One of the most unique ones is this one that's kind of floating in the air.
Yeah, so this guy is called Viper. He was one of the big boss guys in the game. It was one of the more memorable boss fights in this game. The details on him I did with custom stickers that I have. So I've developed these custom sticker packs that we're about to start selling through a distributor that I've chosen, Blackfin Bricks, to get all the details in there. And so I'm trying to make it as close to Lego-like as I can, but with the materials that are out and everything, haven't quite gotten there. Brick built, it's just too small of a scale to really get the look that we're going for. And that's a similar thing with the eyeball there. Those are custom developed.
Yeah. And then what about this guy out here? So he's one of the beefier looking Titans.
Absolutely, yeah. So this guy's Scorch. He's got a lot of fire. So he's got a big old thermite cannon that he shoots off. He's got the really big eye. We haven't figured out how to print the eye just yet, but we'll be developing that and hopefully selling that custom here soon. He opens up, his hatch opens. There's no figure in there just yet, but he shares a lot of similarities with the white guy that I was showing over here. His name is the Ogre. So he came in the first game, and in the second game they kind of changed him up to add the backpack and everything else here. This is one of my more fragile ones, I suppose, just because of the parts that I was limited with. His arms kind of fall off. That was one of the limitations, I suppose, with the shaping that I chose around the cockpit.
So when you build these, it's more with display in mind than kind of playability factor.
It is. So I wanted to make a version of these mechs that didn't fall apart when you pick up. So all of the torsos and everything are very sturdy in here. So I have a lot of snot building in the sides. All of my brackets on the inside are all plated over to make sure that nothing falls apart in there. Same thing with the arms themselves. There's nothing really fidgety that'll fall off, but they're not necessarily meant for play. And also with the amount of joints that they have. I mean, if kids were to handle this, I know a lot of the old mechs have a whole lot of joints, the Exoforce mechs and whatnot, but it doesn't fit as well with LEGO's current design philosophy. So these are, and then as well with the source material, it's a bit more obscure. It's more for the sort of teenager and young adult fans. And I didn't think a fully posable I thought a fully posable model that's more for show would be better to represent that.
So how many have you built in total now?
Oh, I think I'm up to 18. I have 2 extras that I didn't bring to the show just because I didn't get them registered in time. I have another 3 that I plan on building physically, and I'm doing color variations for every one of these. So this model already was in a color bundle that I'm calling them. So we've got the default guy with the instructions that are being sold there, and then the color bundle will include this and 4 other color variations. And I plan on keeping that up for just about every one of them except for the original 3. The original 3 have 2 different color schemes that they have, and I've just got the one version here.
Yeah. Well, this is great work, so thank you for bringing all these out to Brick Rodeo, and it's really cool to see a game like Titanfall being represented with LEGO, so looking forward to seeing more in the future.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.